class, and supported by them as well in the sash. And also thank you to Tough Rock for their great support in also supporting that class as well. So congratulations to them. So great exhibits. Congratulations, they parade off the arena. Well, what a delight it is to be able to recognise all those magnificent young riders. Congratulations to them, and congratulations to their families, their parents, grandparents, the whole family. It's a real family occasion to come down and show and exhibit and compete at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. And also over the far side of the arena, we welcome in another class in our harness as well. What a magnificent lineup we have for this class over in front of the Cumberland stand. And this is for class 693. 693 is the non-hackney pony. Over 11 hands, not exceeding 12 hands. And our judges, and we welcome, we have two judges judging the light harness, Mr. Robert Lidgard and Esther Goodwin, who are judging here this year. Well, it's all set up for show tubbing, and the arena's set up. Our judges, our officials, our riders. You can see one couple of them down there waiting. And it's a very good afternoon to the very dapper young John Balance.
Thank you, Angus, and yes, I'm looking forward to this competition. This is Section 1, the top level of competition. Our most experienced horse and riders, and this is a competition with one jump off. We have 19 entries, and the course comprises 12 numbers and two double combinations, so 14 efforts there. A time allowed on the first round of 81 seconds. So our hope is that we have at least two riders who complete the course without jumping penalties or time penalties, so that we come to a jump off. This morning we had a great jump off in the Section 3 competition. We had 9 horses who jumped clear over the first round, and we saw some speedy, accurate riding. And let's hope we get at least 2, but 4 or 5 would be great. Yeah. So 2 double combinations on the course. There is a double at 4A and B, which is down in front of the Vincent Fairfax stand, and then down toward the spotless big screen, we have 9A and B. They start out over the yellow, green and white obstacle, and then move down to the green and white obstacle as number 2. So it's probably 8 or 9 strides down there, depending how the riders feel that will best suit their horses. They'll turn left then to the red and white rails in front of the members' stand, then 7 or 8 strides on a curve to 4A and B, straight on to the black and white obstacles with the black and white horse heads. And that's at 5. Then we have 6, 7 and 8 in a straight line. We start at 6 with the spread fence, the oxer with the red and white rails, to the red, black and white rails at 7. 4 strides there, then 5 strides onto the red, white and blue rails. That's at 8. Turn right onto 9A and B, a 1 stride combination there. Keep on that right rein to the green and black obstacle. Then turn left to the last line. Fence 11 has the purple and gold RAS wall, and our last obstacle is number 12 with the blue, black and white rails. So the 12 efforts. First out onto the course will be RSB JACANA. And our rider there is Rebecca Allen. So just a few last minute adjustments to the timing equipment so that we know that that's all working. Our course designed by Werner Dieg from Germany. This is the 5th year that Werner has been at the Sydney Royal Easter Show to design the jumping courses for us. Very, very experienced course designer, working right throughout the world, right throughout Europe, North America, South America, and East and Western Europe, as well as this year he visited New Zealand for the first time, where he was the course designer for the Horse of the Year show, their biggest show of horse competitions there in Napier in the Hawke's Bay. So we have our electrician down there ready, just about to reset the timing gear, and then our judge from Singapore, Mr. N.Y. Ho, will bring in our first horse, RSB JACANA, and then Guru.
So I was just going to ask you, Mr. Valance, looking at ahead, a little way ahead, there's a State of Origin coming up this year with, you just said Guru and JACANA, and they're from Queensland. So do you follow the Rugby League down here on Channel 9? A great sponsor.
What's this? What's
Rugby League?
Rugby League? No, I know nothing about it. Nothing at all about it. But mentioning Queenslanders, we have, thank goodness, we have a great field of Queensland riders with us in the Section 1. The first 4 riders in this competition, it's Rebecca Jenkins, Clem Smith, Stuart Jenkins and Billy Raymont, are all Queenslanders now. Then we have a couple of New South Wales riders, and then we go back with a mixture of Victorian and Queensland riders. So I think we counted yesterday that there were 9 riders out of the 19 in Section 1, or 9 horse rider combinations in Section 1 are from Queensland. So 81 seconds, the time allowed at the moment. Our course designer hasn't been too tight on the time allowed. It's on occasions counted. We had 2 riders in our last competition who had jumped clear, however just went over the time allowed. So we'll see what happens in this competition. And sometimes the time allowed plays a very, very big role in a competition.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have the harness class being judged over there on the far side of the arena. A great class. This is, I think, the final of our harness classes here in the Spotless Stadium this afternoon. And what a magnificent classes we've seen right throughout the show so far. And this is class 693, the non-hackney pony, over 11 hands, not exceeding 12 hands. In fact, we have more hackney ponies coming up around about 3:55. Apologise to Shetland ponies, show vehicle turnout, Viceroys at 4:25. And of course, all leading into the Sydney Royal Easter Show World Championship Camp Draft Round 2. And that will be commencing at 5 o'clock this afternoon. But the horse on course in the show dubbing, it's back to John Valance.
Thank you, Angus. And we have Rebecca Jenkins back on course. Rebecca from Glamorgan Vale in Queensland rides her own and her husband Stuart Jenkins's RSB JACANA. Yesterday they posted a clear round in the Section 1 competition. So underway. Obstacle height up to 150, perhaps a little bit taller. Now onto our first combination. Comfortably through the 2 strides. Okay. Unfortunately, the rail down as we over fence 5 there. Now the related line. Got the 4 strides, but was a little bit flat going to it and made the 5. So 8 penalties so far for RSB JACANA. She comes to our second double combination, this time only 1 stride, and safely negotiated. So 8 penalties. Coming to the last fence, 8 jumping penalties so far, and leaves that in place and stops the clock at 76.74, 76.74, so no trouble with the time allowed, but 8 jumping penalties, and that's unlikely to be in the jump off. Guru is the horse on course, and this is our winner from yesterday's competition. They were clear and they were very fast, 64.53 over the track. The rider from Gatton in Queensland, this is Clem Smith, and he rides Guru, a 13-year-old bay gelding, standing 16.2 hands in height. Clem said, "Wait a moment, Guru," and he came back to a trot, but able to get the speed up again. Interesting. Fence 5, 2 from 2. Horses just getting a little bit flat going down that line. The line of 3 is no problem. So just the 4 penalties for Guru. Really took a fair lump of a 9A out. And so that's a further 4. So 2 of our riders who jumped clear from yesterday have collected 8 penalties. And no trouble with the time allowed, 72.81, but 8 jumping penalties for Clem Smith and Guru. So maybe fence 5 is the one to watch to see if that becomes a dominant fence on the course. That brings into the arena Stuart Jenkins, the other half of the Jenkins combination. Rebecca we saw out first up, and Stuart, Rebecca's husband, is on course now with Fairview Animation. And yesterday, Fairview Animation and Stuart had 8 jumping penalties in the 1-round competition. Fairview Animation, a 9-year-old bay gelding, standing 16.2 hands high, and had a very consistent season in Grand Prix at Brisbane Royal, Caboolture and Gatton World Cup, as well as the Melbourne Royal Show.
And John, for anyone that may have joined us too just recently, the Class 286 being judged down here for any young people, the mums and dads watching from the city. In front of the big screen is the Clydesdale mare or gelding, driven in hand, and no complicated workout is required, but it's to be driven by a senior 18 years and over. And the minimum equipment you can see down there on the horse is the winkers and the reins, the collar, the hames, the backband, and the chains. And John was just saying about the Fairview prefix. In fact, would you believe that came from his father, Bill? Bill, the lovely property up there, and he had a Limousin stud, a Limousin cattle breed stud called, and his prefix was Fairview, and Stuart's carried it on. They own a wonderful big company of electricians called Air and Gas Supplies at Wakehollow in Brisbane. So there's a little history of the boy.
the prefixes are interesting where they come from. Sometimes it's a stud themselves, sometimes it's from the owners, like RSB with Robbie, Sarah and Becky Allen. Coming down the last, oh no, Stewart, the last fence down, that also gives him 8 penalties. So where yesterday we had our first 3 all clear, today we have the same group of horses and 3 with 8 penalties.
You know, his niece also there, he and Becky are teaching now too, Lucy Hunkins and Stewie. I had the pleasure of seeing him compete in show jumping now for virtually all his life up in Queensland, and they're a lovely family. He's a mum and dad, and now Beck, his lovely wife, and their little daughter too. So it's great to see the next generation coming through, isn't it?
Yes, it's we have quite a fair crop of youngsters who are making their way in the sport from a very early age, and at the moment we've got a number of riders with young families, so let's hope that they all take up the sport as well. 4th Queensland rider in a row, Billy Raymont on course now, and Billy rides Anton. Anton is stabled at Koran in Queensland. He is a 12-year-old bay gelding and same height as our last horse, 16 hands.
And there's another family, John, you're saying, his brother Jamie. Jamie's living on the Gold Coast. He, in fact, is doing a lot of pre-training now for the racing industry, Jamie. And Billy, they're both engaged. And wonderful family. Dad Paul does a lot of judging and course designing too. So it's all in the blood.
Yes.
Show jumping.
It's a great sport to have that. And Anton yesterday didn't have such a good day, but things are looking better. He had 4 rails down yesterday, but he's settled into his task today quite well. So as he turns to the last line, he is all clear. And leaves them all up. So there's our first clear round, and we now need another one to force a jump off. So congratulations to Billy Raymont and Anton, all clear. No trouble with the time allowed, 69.61. Sharon Slater on course now, and Sharon rides CP Aprilla. Sharon from Pitt Town in New South Wales, former Western Australian rider, but has been living in New South Wales for quite some time now. Here we have a 14-year-old bay mare who's 16.3 hands in height. So just a bottom plank there to put up the, whilst it may have fallen down as a result of Billy hitting the fence, but it could also have been the wind, because it's not the top element of the fence, it doesn't count. It's only the dislodgement of the top element of the fence that counts for scoring. So, having received the bell, Sharon Slater and CP Aprilla underway in the Group 1 section jumping contest.
And over at the far side of the arena, behind the show jumping arena, in front of the Cumberland stand and to the side of the Martin and Angus stand, is class 693, the non-hackney pony, over 11 hands, not exceeding 12 hands. And Shetland ponies are not eligible to compete in this class. Our judges this year, Esther Goodwin and Robert Lidgard, and it's wonderful to see Chris Carter, his late dad Philip, who we'll be paying tribute to during the show, a great lover of everything to do with the harness world, and particularly the heavy horses that we'll see later on during the show. So that class, beautiful class, great lineup, lovely viceroys. They're all been presented beautifully by the exhibitors when they've come from New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria. We wish them well. Back to John.
So CP Aprilla and Sharon Slater, all clear up to and including fence 10. This could give us our second clear round and ensure us of the jump off. No. No clear round there for Sharon Slater, just the 4 penalties at the last. 75.72, the time taken there, but
they call it the commentator's voodoo, you know, John Bell.
Yes, if you believe in all that sort of guff. If only we had that much influence. So unfortunately for Sharon and CP Aprilla, the last obstacle coming down, and that will actually put them into second place on the leaderboard at the moment. That brings to the arena EMMAVILLE Jitterbug and CLINT Beresford, a rider from Bega. Jitterbug, a 10-year-old brown gelding, 16 hands, and they were placed yesterday. They had a clear round in the speed competition and had an absolutely fantastic trip to New Zealand recently for their Horse of the Year competition, where he finished second in what's called the Silver Fern Stakes, the second biggest competition of the show, and then third in the Horse of the Year Olympic Cup, which is their major competition. So horse and rider, right on form, CLINT Beresford and EMMAVILLE Jitterbug.
It's amazing too, John, the number of young people like CLINT Beresford that have been influenced in their career in shadowing by Grant Hughes. He's been just a great instructor and a great leader for the people at the ACT Shadowing Club, and also in a great ambassador for shadowing for Australia as well.
Very much so, and Clint's probably one of his star pupils. And would you believe it? Last obstacle down again. So no, and nor did I. So another rider with 4 penalties. So 71.46. So that will move CLINT into second position and drop Sharon Slater down to third at the moment. Brooke Dobbin on course now, and Brooke rides his own horse Silvo, and Brooke from Yarra Glen in Victoria. Silvo, a 13-year-old bay gelding standing at 16.3 hands in height. And among the many great performances of Silvo and Brooke last year was a win at the Grand Prix, in the Grand Prix at Whittlesea Show.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a result here for class number 693 for the non-hackney ponies. The non-hackney pony over 11 hands, not exceeding 12 hands. First place goes to catalogue number 2137. Congratulations to Glenwood Showgirl, nominated by the Rag Proctor Family Show Team from Mittagong in New South Wales. And all those people sitting in front of the Cumberland stand, come on, give them a nice round of applause. A great, wonderful exhibitors. Second place goes to 1117 Giro Porcelain with Ronald and Warren and Yvonne and Kerry Barlow from Barrel. We'll cross back to John for an update of our shadowing, and then I'll give you the other minor placings.
So Silvo, who jumped clear yesterday, unfortunately they had a rail down at fence 10 for 4 jumping penalties, and they joined that growing list of horses, riders with 4 penalties. Their time was quite good. It puts them into third place at the moment, 73.70.
And John in third place, just being presented with their award over there, is breastplate number 2253, Neil Shippard in Tarragon Park Victory. And then fourth place goes to 2138, is Glenwood Show-Off, the Reagan Proctor Family Show Team from Middlecong, New South Wales in fourth place. Fifth place to catalogue number 2397. Congratulations to Alpha Centauri with Marjorie Walter from Ripplebrook in Victoria. So Glenwood Showgirl, Rag and Proctor Family Show Team from Middlecong, the winner of Class 693, the non-Hackney pony over 11 hands, not exceeding 12 hands. They'll play it off in front of the grandstands very soon. When they do, give them a nice round of applause. To introduce you to our next horse and rider on course and show dumping, it's over to John Valance.
On course now, we have Diamond B Vigo, and in the saddle is Amanda Madigan. This combination yesterday were clear, however, today, just as I mentioned it, fences 4B and 5 come down. So turning to the line of 3 with 8 penalties.
Go ahead, mate. I'll do that now, mate. No problems at all. I might be all right, then I'll move away a little bit too.
So three rails there for Amanda Madigan and Diamond B Vigo, total of 12, and we won't be seeing them coming back for the prize giving. Andrew Lamb is the rider on course. Andrew from Nambrook in East Gippsland, and he rides CP Argento. We have quite a number of horses with the CP prefix, and that stands for Chatham Park. And Chatham Park has produced many top horses. We have CP APRILLA in this class and CP Argento.
Well, John, we'd just like to welcome in front of the members stand and the Sutter stand, those competing in Class 131. This is a very prestigious class here this afternoon. The James Angus Memorial Australian Stock Horse Stockman's Turnout for stallions, mares or geldings to be ridden in a snaffle bit, the rider to be 18 years and over, the attire a sports coat or jacket, fawn stockman trousers or jodhpurs, black or tan riding boots, and the Australian Stock Horse Society's tie, the long-sleeved and collared shirt. Also, the equipment of the Australian Stock Horse saddle, Australian Stock Horse saddle cloth, or one similar, a single rein leather bridle, snaffle bit, and also spurs are optional. There's the hobbles, the gear suggestions, hobbles, oilskin coat, saddle bag, quart pot, and any other appropriate items needed for droving. So it's a great class down here being judged, and they certainly present themselves magnificently in front of our judge for this class this afternoon. And also we'll let you know more about the James Angus Memorial, because it's a very prestigious award. And it's back to John.
Coming to the last fence, CP Argento and Andrew Lamb, and they had just the one fence down there, and it was the first obstacle on the course, so it always becomes a long way home when you have the first obstacle down. Total of 4 there for Andrew Lamb and CP Argento. Robert Goodwin is our next rider, another Queensland rider on course, and Robert rides co-pilots. Co-pilot, a 10-year-old stallion, who stands at 16.2 in height. So at the moment, we are on the one clear round. Billy Raymont and Anton, our only combination to negotiate the course without any penalty. And Robert, another one, fence one.
Well, John, we just have a result. If you look down here in front of the magnificent big screen in the spotless stadium, as we bring up the pipes and drums of the winners and the place getters of Class 286, the Clydesdale Mare Gelding driven class, and to be driven by a senior 18 years and over. The minimum equipment is winkers and reins, collars and hames, and back, hand and chains. So what a great lineup. Put your hands together. Come on, Sydney. Give them all a big round of applause. You do them proud before we announce the winners and place getters. First place, the catalogue number 2237 is Distant View Tanger with John Sercombe and Miss Kylie Vernon from North Richmond, New South Wales. Second place, the catalogue 2007. Ben Warren Park Lady Audra, Heather and Philip Oxenham from Frogmore in New South Wales. By Borowa, by Borowa. In third place goes to catalogue 2013, Ben Warren Park Prestige, and Prestige is Heather and Philip Oxenham's nomination as well. So there's second and third place. From Belgravia in New South Wales, Jessica Jonkman's nomination, catalogue number 1721. Leisurely Gypsy Rose Kate, what a lovely name, is in fourth place. So, ladies and gentlemen, what a great lineup. Congratulations to them. Once again, put your hands together and give them all a big round of applause. They deserve it. The beautiful Clydesdales, the gentle giants, the breed that built our nation. And it's back to John.
So, co-pilot and Robert Goodwin perhaps had a day they would rather forget. 32 penalties for that combination. JB Carabas is the next horse on course, and our rider from Tamworth is James Hetherington. And yesterday, JB Carabas had just the one rail down in the speed class. At the moment, we are stuck with no jump off. We have Anton and Billy Raymont, the only combination without penalty, and then we have 4 riders on 4 penalties who will be placed according to their time. Let's hope we can pull a couple of clear rounds out of the bottom half of the draw. JB Carabas and James Hetherington aiming for that role right now.
Well, Mr. John O'Sullivan is making the presentation, our judge from Victoria, and it's wonderful to welcome him up here this year. He's competed here many times himself, and he's assisted by David Look down there as well. He's Stewart from Queensland, and what a magnificent lineup. Congratulations to all those exhibitors in this magnificent class, the Clydesdale Mare Gelding in the driven class, and we certainly salute you all. Isn't it wonderful, John, where you have the Clydesdales in one area, show dumping in the centre, harness at the back, Australian stock horses. Just an amazing stadium, isn't it?
It's great to see this stadium so full and so active. Gives our visitors something to look at. And there we have it. Our second clear round, so we're guaranteed a jump off. That is fantastic. Well done, James Hetherington and JB Carabas. They join Billy Raymont and Anton as clear rounds. Yeah. Second ride in the competition for Billy Raymont. This time, Billy rides Stardom. Stardom yesterday had a few penalties, just the 2 rails down. He is a 17-year-old black gelding that has pretty much done everything in the sport. He's won World Cup qualifying competitions, Grand Prix at major Royals. And he's on track now, aiming to join Billy's other mount, Anton, in the jump off. And Billy Raymond is on song today. That's 2 clear rounds from 2 starts, so well done to Billy. He's improved on yesterday's work with Stardom. So 3 now for the jump off.
Sorry, mate, I have the wind socket over it now.
Angus, next into the arena, we welcome the Queensland-based Western Australian rider, Georgie Siciliano. Georgie rides her own Sovereign CESANN, a 10-year-old bay gelding standing at 17 hands high, one of the biggest horse in the competition. Yesterday they went for pretty good. They're just the 1 rail down, so let's hope that we can improve on that for Georgie.
Had a big horse.
A big horse, and Georgie's not that tall herself, but a great rider. Georgie Siciliano and Sovereign's CESANN with 3 to join the jump offs so far.
It's always been a pleasure to see her. Well, Vicky and I have made our way across since 2000, the year at the Olympics. We had the great honour of being invited to Perth Royal Show, and Georgie came up through the junior ranks, young riders, and has made her way over to the east coast of Australia, John. So it's been wonderful to see her very successful career.
Very much so. Just having one of the obstacles on the course checked, Georgie. So there was a little hold up.
On the far side of the arena, we welcome in now class 670, which is the Hackney harness horse, 14 hands not exceeding 15 hands, to be driven in a show vehicle, which is the Viceroy. The beautiful light vehicles there, the Viceroys with 4 pneumatic tyres. Very easy, very light to pull, and you can see them with the chrome wheels. They're always sparkling, and the amount of time and effort that goes into preparation for harness classes, I really congratulate them all. The same as all classes at any agricultural show or oil show. Back to John.
So the obstacle has been checked and CESANN is underway. A little bit long and flat there to obstacle number 2 and has it out in front. A big horse that Georgie really has to work on to keep him together. So just 4 penalties early at fence 1 and 4 penalties at fence 2. It's a total of 8 early in the course. So we're up to 12 penalties now for Georgie, with rails at 1, 2 and 7. Coming to the lasts. We're carrying 12, and they finished with 12, a total of 12 there for Georgie Siciliano. So a total of 12 for Georgie Siciliano, 72. .84, 72.84. Okay. Matt Afford on course now. Matt is riding Kaluna Salute. So just the fourth to last to go. And Matt yesterday with Kaluna Salute had 3 rails down for 12 penalties. At the moment, we have 3 horses who have completed the course without penalty. So let's hope Matt can make it 4.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have the Australian Stock Horse Turnout class, which you see being judged at the present time, and it's a great class. And today we'll have the great pleasure of having a newly appointed councillor to the Royal Agricultural Society of New South Wales, Councillor James Angus, to make the presentation. And the magnificent trophy to be presented, the James Angus Memorial Perpetual Trophy, and it'll be a very special occasion for him presenting it for the first time here this year because of the history of the Angus family. And we'll let you know more about that when that time comes up for the presentation. Thanks, John.
Coming down to the last, Matt Afford has 4 penalties there. So just the rail down at fence 9A for Matt to give him his 4 penalties. And that with 3 clear, and now we have 5 on 4 penalties. So with those 4 penalties, Matt currently sits in 7th position. Second ride in the competition now for our Queensland rider from Gatton, Clem Smith. Clem rides Delilah. Guru, his first horse, had 2 rails down today. Yesterday, Delilah was one of the 9 clear rounds. And 3rd position yesterday there with Delilah. So a great day for Clem, but today's a little bit different. Guru has had rails down, so we hope that Delilah can become our 4th horse to qualify for the jump off.
And looking at the Australian Stock Horse Turnout class being judged, a suggested judging format from the Society as they look at the judge, looks at the type and conformation of horse, is worth 40 points, presentation, suitability of gear 40 points, and workout 20 points. And then, of course, then there's the attention to detail, particularly in regards to the court pot and the saddle bag and the oilskin coat, etc. So it's a wonderful class, and a class that I know they all look forward to being part of each year. And after Clem's round, I'll go across back to John. We have another presentation and another announcement of another class. Thanks, John.
All clear coming to the last, and I shouldn't have said it, but anyhow, it's down. I don't think I influenced it that much. Just the last rail there for Clem Smith. Got a little onward bound with Delilah and just ran through the front. So 4 jumping penalties and 77.44 the time taken. It won't, well, I don't think that will qualify him for the placings. Yeah, second last combination on course to go now. This is CONGOZ, and our rider is VICKI ROYCROFT.
Oh, thank you. I love that. Thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have the presentation taking place for Class 670, the Hackney Harness Horse, 14 hands not exceeding 15 hands to be driven in a show vehicle. And first place to catalogue number 1324, Hudson's Valentina. Congratulations to Vince Corby, Margaret Beggs and Terry Cowan's nomination from Limber in Queensland, and driven by Mr. Vince Corby, and the attendant there is Terry Cowan. And when you look back at this lovely exhibit, it goes back to Donnelly Nerea, and I think of the late and the great Mary Wilsellen. In second place goes to a wonderful family from Murrurundi, New South Wales, catalogue number 1041, Ashwood's Tantalus, exhibited by Ashley and Robin Allison Woods and family, and Ashwood Hackney Stud at Murrurundi, New South Wales, driven by Ashley himself. And congratulations to Ashley and Robin's sons come down each year to assist Mum and Dad in the classes here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. Back to John Valence.
Vicky Roycroft and CONGOZ, 2 rails down yesterday, but up to 9A, all clear. So she turns for home with no penalties. Just the 2 obstacles to go. And all clear in the jumping. No trouble with the time allowed. Clear round number 4. This time it is Vicky Roycroft and CONGOZ. So clear rounds belonging to Billy Raymont on Anton, James Hetherington on JB Carabas, Billy Raymont on his second mount Stardom, and now Vicky Roycroft on CONGOZ.
Actually, Mr. Valence, I was going to suggest to you that you might be able to utilise and take Fabulous Phil that's on the acoustics, because he loves show dumping and watches it just as much as you and I, and thanks to him for those little grabs for the clear rounds. It's wonderful to have.
Yeah, he's right on the ball. We don't have any trouble there. Amaretto MVNZ is on course, and our rider, Lisa Cubitt. Lisa, one of New Zealand's leading riders, has now based herself with her husband Sean at the Oaks Sport Horses in the Oaks. And yesterday they had a very good round in the 1-round competition, and they were clear, and I think they may well have been second or no, fourth, I think, there. So Amaretto, MVNZ and Lisa Cubitt.
Well, after following this last gentleman rounder in this first round, we'll also let you know a little bit more about the Australian Stock Horse Turnout class and what the judges look for, the points, etc. In this magnificent class being judged up here in front of the Sutter stand and the members stand.
Well, unfortunately for Lisa, the rail going into the last combination gives them 4 penalties, so they're coming down to the last obstacle carrying 4, and that is their score. So a total of 4 there for Lisa Cubitt and Amaretto MVNZ, and their time 71.07. So that may be good enough to sneak into the placings with 4 penalties. Just 4 to come back, Angus, for the jump off, and we'll make some course adjustments and be back with the jump off for this competition very soon.
Thanks very much. Thanks, John Valence, and doing a wonderful job introducing you to all the show dumping, the riders, the horses, the information about the riders, the success of the horses as well. And it's always a great pleasure to work with John. For quite a few years now, it's at Canberra and Brisbane and down in New South Wales, and it's always, as I said, nice to see him. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we just have this great class up here. What a wonderful lineup for this very special class to be decided this afternoon. And this is awarded to the winner of the James Angus Memorial for the Australian Stock Horse Stockman's Turnout. The late Mrs. J. Angus donated the trophy in memory of her husband, Mr. James Angus, who was devoted to the show. And it was first presented in 1985, so we'll let you know more about that. when the presentation takes place, but Jim Angus, as he is affectionately known, was an RAS councillor from 1950 to 1965, RAS Vice President from 1965 to 1984, RAS Honorary Vice President from 84, and Assistant Deputy Ringmaster from 1954 to 1984. Since then, Mr. Lawrence Angus has followed the tradition, and he has been was elected to council and has been ringmaster. Was ringmaster prior to Mr. Bill Pickin, Councillor Bill Pickin, who's been down looking after the heavy horse classes here at the show today, in front of the big screen. And then following Lawrence Angus was Bill Pickin. Following Bill Pickin this year for the very first time is John Bennett, who's the ringmaster for the very first time this year at the City Royal Easter Show. And also Mr. James Angus Jr., he's been appointed a councillor, and following in his grandfather's and father's footsteps. I think it's the third generation of James Angus to play a part at the Royal Agricultural Society of New South Wales. So it's wonderful to see the tradition lives on of families and people that have made such an input and have had great influence on the building of this wonderful organisation, the Royal Agricultural Society of New South Wales. Well, this class being judged at the present time for the stock horse turnout class, the Australian Stockman's turnout, or stock horse turnout. As I said, the suggested judging format has been type and conformation, horses 40 points, presentation, suitability of gear 40 points, workout 20 points, and competitors to be judged on the above point system. Is correct fit of saddlery should be taken into account, and more than the amount of gear that the horse is carrying. Attention should be made to the cleanliness of the gear rather than the age of it. The quart pot should look used and contain matches, and maybe tea and sugar. The saddle bag should contain something for the rider to eat, and for the young people from the city here, in days gone by and still today, in the big stations and properties throughout Australia, a quart pot's very important, plays a very important part for the graziers and their wives and families when they go out mustering in the enormous stations or big areas of land that they go mustering and bringing back the cattle into the whatever requirements may be, whether it's for the sale purpose or whether it's just to check the cattle for health requirements, etc. And so the quart pot is used, I can assure you, still today. And my grandsons, they have their own quart pot at their property up in Jindawa in Queensland. And the saddle bag should contain something for the rider to eat as well. The oilskin coat should be neatly rolled and attached by means of straps to the back of the saddle, as you can see if you look down there at this class. All buckles should be matching and the strap ends through the keepers. And the workout should not be long or involved, just enough to show the horse will accept the gear as well. And the judge should keep in mind, and judges, their decision should be based on the most suitable horse and rider combination with clean and presentable gear that could do a day's stock work. Now, also, the suggested attire for the rider is the Australian Stockman's type felt hat, or as you can see down here with the requirements today, with the skull caps as well, the Stockman's cut trousers, not jeans, riding boots, Australian stock horse tie is preferred, the Australian stock horse long sleeve shirt preferred, a tweed jacket if appropriate, or an Australian stock horse jumper, and then suggested saddlery. They'll be looking at the stirrup irons are optional, the oxbows or 4 bars, Stockman's breastplate, the stock type bridle and single leather reins, joined or split, the Australian stock horse saddle cloth preferred, spurs are optional, and a snaffle bit. And gear is the hobbles, either the foot or knee, not both. They look at other items if they're down there, such as pocket knives or quart pots or saddle bags or oilskin coats and matches, stock whips, and also pliers. Some carry pliers, naturally if they're out in the properties, fencing, and fly awl and shears. So there's a lot to be considered when they're judging this class. We hope you enjoy watching it here this afternoon. Wonderful class. And also, once again, we'd just like to pay tribute to the magnificent green coat mounted stewards that we have the great honour and pleasure of introducing to you here at the show. Our green coats for 2016, we have Mr. Bob Drew, the Chief Green Coat, retired Detective Inspector from Tamworth. His hobbies and interests include horses, camp drafting, radio and travel. He's been green coat for 26 years. So welcome, Bob. Congratulations on a wonderful career. Also, Mr. Cliff Parker, a green coat for 42 years. Clerk of the course at Newcastle, Gosford and Wyong. At the race meetings there, resides at Wallalong via Maitland. Hobbies and interests including showing stock horses, travel. And very soon he'll be a granddad. He'll be able to change nappies. So he'll be looking forward to that, won't you, Cliff Parker? Tom Steger, an ordnance officer, resides at Dubbo in New South Wales. And the green coat, 24 years. Hobbies include camp drafting and horse breeding. Mike Rollins, the manager of ALEC in Tamworth. It's always nice to see Mike. He resides at Manila in New South Wales. Green coat for 2 years. His hobbies include tent picking, horse breeding and family. And also they play with those big balls. They play soccer and all the games up at ALEC, I can assure you, with Mike. And Stephen Myhill. Stephen's a plant operator, resides at Armidale. He's a green coat for 3 years, and hobbies include camp drafting and horse trekking. Stephen Wells, a farrier, resides at Gundawindi, just over the border of New South Wales into Queensland. He's been a green coat for 3 years. His hobbies and interests include camp drafting. And Mr. Jock Adams, a retired grazier, resides here in New South Wales. And he's been a green coat many years, back relieving for this year. His hobbies includes family and showing horses as well. And he's, in fact, just relieving Clint Parker, because Clint is showing Australian stock horses this year. And Corinne, you'd remember Corinne. And Corinne Parker, Corinne is expecting their first babe in about a fortnight's time or a week's time. So that's why I said that Cliff Parker will be looking forward to changing some nappies very soon after 42 years of service being a green coat at Sydney Royal Show. So John, we played at the show. Back to you, John.
Very important part of the organisation of the arena in particular. So we're about to commence our jump off for the Group A Section 1, the top level of competition at our Sydney Royal Easter Show. The course is slightly different to what they jumped in the first round. They begin over fence 14, which is fence 1 in reverse. Then they go to 11, 12, and the last line, 9AB, around to 2, the green and white, then 4A, the first of the combination there, and finish over 5, the black and white horses. So if at the end of this round we have a quality of penalties, it will be the horse rider combination with the fastest time that will be placed first. So Billy Raymont making Anton work seriously there. He's given him a short turn back to a couple of fences. Oh, paid the penalty for it there. So a rail down at fence 2. 4A is our second last fence and completes the course with one rail down, and the time 41.88, 41.88 and 4 penalties. Time allowed for the jump off is 57 seconds. So Anton and Billy Raymont, 41.88. James Hetherington is our rider on course now, and James will ride JB Carabas. Perhaps just rehearsing in 1 or 2 turns that he's going to work on. Now, of course, the clear round under the time allowed will put James ahead of Billy Raymont. If he has a rail down, he has to be faster than Billy, whose time was 41.88. So JB Carabas underway in the jump off.
And also the other green coat that I apologise that I didn't mention was Mr. Peter Spackman, that looks after everyone in the lovely golf buggy and looks after all the trophies and the presentation. And Pete's another one of our very distinguished green coat stewards here as well. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Angus. Unfortunately for James, he's had 9A down, so he's on 4 penalties. also has number 2 down, so he's on 8. We'll leave Billy in front. And a further 4 at number 5. So that's a total of 12 in the jump off for JB Carabas, and their time 49.61. Now,
And John, a lot of people will be asking, like myself, you're right up to date with what's happening. Tom McDermott, who's had enormous success here, winning champion show-jumping rider for quite a few years now at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. Tom, I think he's over. Is he over in Europe as well at present? He's not.
Tom is actually in North America,
right.
competing in Wellington. He took over his top horse, Airtime Z. He's been competing on that and another horse, and then he's found a catch ride on quite a good horse and been in some of the big competitions. They have a weekly tournament there. It goes for 12 weeks, so each week is a new tournament. About 6,000 horses stabled on the grounds and all jumping.
And how much prize money?
Something like $9 million.
$9 million
over the time of all the 12 tournaments. It is phenomenal.
Amazing, isn't it? And Europe's the same. Europe, big prize money over there too. Huge money, isn't it? Happening. So these events, how long has that run for? That huge event over in America?
At the Palm Beach International Equestrian Centre, it's 12 weeks.
Just at the one venue?
At the one venue.
Isn't that amazing?
And they're also in Florida, in Ocala, there is another tournament going on at the same time. But I think it's only 5 weeks.
Right.
But they have a $1 million class at the end of the 5 weeks. So there's $1 million prize money on that competition.
What about for John Vallance? What's been the highlight of your career? Because you've had a wonderful career and being one of our top international course designers.
Sydney Olympic Games, of course,
right.
Has to be there. It was great 3 or 4 years working with my colleague Leopoldo Palacios in the designing of the obstacles and then the supervision of the construction and working with making the plans for the courses and.
How long before we see maybe the Olympics back in Australia again? Can you see that happening in the foreseeable future, or is that a long way off?
I think it's a long way off. We've
right.
had two serves of the Olympics in Australia, and it's an expensive exercise. But I think Sydney is a much better city for having conducted it. Not only with all the great legacy that we're enjoying right at this moment from the baseball stadium that was put up here and in the Olympic precinct, but we have facilities around Western Sydney that are with us. But it also showed us that we are an international city full of wonderful people who can work together and make an exciting time happen. And that's what I've found when I've travelled, that particularly in those 3 or 4 years after Sydney, colleagues commented on how friendly and warm and
sure.
the people were toward them, and it didn't matter whether it was at the venue or it was an opening or closing ceremony or in a bar or a restaurant in the centre of the city. They just loved the Australian people and their welcoming attitude toward people.
And Councillor Lawrence Angus, we used to say before about this very prestigious award to be decided this afternoon for the James Angus Memorial Perpetual Trophy, but Lawrence was very much involved, I think, in organising various venues, the Horsley Park and
Certainly, yeah. Lawrence and I were working together there for a couple of years. He was in the logistics and procurement department and spent a lot of time, making sure all the little things that were needed, or big and little things that were needed to conduct the event were available to us. And then he stayed on at the venue after that to help with the transition back into a normal equestrian centre rather than the Olympic mode equestrian centre.
I always remember Vicky and I having the great honour of coming down for the year before, the event prior, or warm-up for the Olympic Games in '99 and out at Horsley Park. What a magnificent venue.
And it's matured well. It looks established, and it's 16 years since it was finished, and they're just starting to refurbish elements of it. We finally have the Olympic arena with footing that is suitable to compete on. We struggled with it all through the Olympics. But the Department of Sport and Recreation have been great in maintaining it as a great equestrian venue.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Billy Raymont's just coming in, so it's back to John Vallens to let you know about the showdown.
Thanks, Angus. And Billy Raymont with his second mount, the more experienced of the two horses he has in the jump-off. This is Stardom, and he's 17 years of age, but has been carefully managed by Billy. His first mount, Anton, leads the competition with just 4 penalties. So we await and see whether Billy can post a clear round and put pressure on VICKI ROYCROFT and CONGOZ, who are the last combination to go. Certainly a clear round puts more pressure than a 4 penalty round. Billy Raymont and Stardom underway in the jump-off of the Group A Section 1 competition. Oh, he has had the block out of the wall. That's unusual. First time the wall has come down in the competition. So 4 penalties coming to the last line, and Billy looks as if he's going to try and cut a stride out. And he does that and completes the course in 41.41, 41.41, and that will put him into the lead with the 4 penalties. So Billy sits at 1 and 2 on the leaderboard, at 1 with Stardom and at 2 with Anton. James Hetherington in third as we welcome our last rider in the jump-off to the arena. This is VICKI ROYCROFT, and she rides her own CONGOZ. So a clear jumping round will ensure that she wins the competition, so long as she doesn't incur time penalties. If she has 4 penalties to win the competition, she must be quicker than Billy on Stardom, which was 41.41 seconds. CONGOZ, VICKI ROYCROFT.
I've got to say, too, how nice it is to welcome Mr. Terry Ryan down here from Chinchilla, watching the show dumping today, too. Great to see you, Terry Ryan.
So coming to the last line, all clear for VICKI ROYCROFT, just the 2 obstacles to go. And she's done it, all clear. VICKI ROYCROFT, CONGOZ, they become the winners with a clear round. Their time 47.18, 47.18 under the time allowed. 0 penalties jumping, 0 penalties time, and that gives them the victory in the Group A, Section 1 jumping contest.
Well, John Valence will be down for the presentation very soon. Vicky Roycroft, what a great win. And ladies and gentlemen, what a wonderful ambassador for show dumping here in Australia. So Vicky Roycroft, congratulations. Well done from Mount White. And represent Australia, as I said, in the Olympic Games, as well as in eventing. I think has also been over with the Australian teams, supporting them as well many times, and just a wonderful ambassador for Australia, so we do salute her and say congratulations. And John will be down to introduce you to Vicky and introduce you to the show dumping, the winners and the place getters very soon. Right over in the far side of the arena, we have a class being judged at the present time. And this class is another one of our harness classes, class 703. And 703 is the Hackney pony not exceeding 12 hands. And if you just joined us just down here in front of the SLATER stand and also the member stand, we have the judging of our very prestigious award, the James Angus Memorial Australian Stock Horse Stockman's Turnout. Stallions, mares or geldings to be ridden a snaffle bit, the rider to be 18 years and over. And there's many awards to be presented. Our judge is Mr. Bruce Withers, a very successful breeder and competitor himself. So we'll be having that presentation once it's concluded here this afternoon. And also we still have a big class coming up for the heavy horses, the Clydesdales as well. So we have that class making its way in very, very soon for class 288. The ridden Clydesdale stallion, mare or gelding, any age. The horse is to be judged on conformation, manners and paces. And our judge, Mr. John O'Sullivan from Victoria, making his way around for the presentation or the judging of the Clydesdales. Now we have two beautiful exhibits down there. Show dumping riders are just assembling down here too, and also, of course, the great event, the Australian Stock Horse, the Horse Stockman's Turnout class, that will introduce you to the winners and the place getters very soon too. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a real joy this year to be working with John Valence, bringing you the information show dumping. Tim Drobman, he was here for the first time last year, and Tim and his wife Rhiannon are expecting their first babe. It's due, I think, maybe even today. So we're just waiting on the news for Tim and Rhiannon, and we certainly wish them well. And also we have CLINT Parker and CLINT, too, that are down here at this show. It's lovely to see them. And they're commencing a family very soon, too. And it's nice to welcome also, just making his way up, as I mentioned earlier today, a gentleman that's had a long association with the Royal Agricultural Society of New South Wales, and that's a retired ringmaster and councillor Bill Picken. And thank you to Bill and Leslie for sponsoring that wonderful award yesterday for the New South Wales Mounted Police too, that they sponsored here at the show as well. Ladies and gentlemen, they're just coming in to line up down here for the presentation of the show dumping event just decided. And to tell you all about it, it's down into the Spotless Stadium to John Valence.
Thank you very much, Angus. And yes, it's a big welcome to Our 4 riders who have placed in the Group A Section 1 competition, and presentation to be made by our judge from Singapore, Mr. N.Y. Ho. And first place is CONGOZ, ridden by VICKI ROYCROFT. Clear in the first round, clear in the second round, and their time 47.18 in the second round. In second position, Billy Raymont on Stardom. Clear in the first round, 4 penalties in the second round, and their time in the second round of 41.41 seconds. And third place to Billy Raymont on his other mount, Anton. Clear in the first round, 4 penalties in the second round, and their time in the second round, 41.88 seconds. So 2 ribbons for Billy. Fourth place to James Hetherington and JB Carabas. Clear in the first round, 12 penalties in the jump off, and their time 49.61. And in fifth position, Andrew Lamb and CP Argento. They had 4 penalties in the first round, but their time 69.67 was better than the other 5 riders with 4 penalties. So that places him in 5th position. 6th went to Amaretto, MVNZ and Lisa Cubit. 7th to Emmaville Jitterbug, CLINT Beresford, and 8th to Silvo and Brooke Dobbin. But a quick word before we send Vicky off on the presentation. Vicky, when you're in 4th out of 4 riders in a jump off, what are your plans then?
Well, there hadn't been a clear round, but I mean, obviously, because the other ones were having a cut, so my main thing was clear round. But I have to give thanks to my coach on the ground, Jenny Shepherd, who was a big help to me today, because my form's been a little ordinary coming to this show, but it's really good to have good eyes on the ground like that. And yeah, I guess I've had enough experience now to know what I should damn well do right, but sometimes it's hard to get it right.
Anyhow, you got it all right today and all the plans fell into place. Congratulations, Vicky. And we ask that you can lead off the place getters as the winner. You can lead the place getters around the arena from the Group A Section 1 jumping competition. Okay, so as they come past the member stand, let's put our hands together for the champion of today, VICKI ROYCROFT and CONGOZ. Billy Raymont, 2nd and 3rd, riding Stardom in the presentation. 4th place to James Hetherington and JB Carabas, and 5th place to Andrew Lamb and CP Argento.